Let's talk about a puzzle that so many teachers, parents, and even students run into. It's that moment when a kid who loves reading suddenly just stops. They hit a wall. Today, we're going to figure out why that happens and way more importantly, what we can do to help them climb right over it.
So to get started, let's meet a couple of people. This is Mrs. Caholo, a fantastic fourth grade teacher, and this is her student, Charles. Now, Charles has always been a pretty solid reader, but lately something's off. He's avoiding books, he seems lost, and Mrs. Caholo, she's starting to worry he's hit what a lot of educators call the fourth grade slump. And that really is the big question, isn't it? What is this so-called slump, and why does it seem to hit right around the fourth grade? I mean, it's not like these kids suddenly forgot how to read. No, something else is going on. Something has fundamentally changed about the words they're seeing on the page.
And that hidden hurdle, the thing that's tripping them up, it's vocabulary. See, right around this age, kids make a huge leap. They go from reading pretty simple stories to needing to understand these complex, fact-filled informational texts. And those new books, they are packed with a whole new world of language.
This right here shows that change perfectly. On the left, you've got a simple story about a panda. It's cute, it's a narrative. But on the right, that's an informational text about the very same animal. And just look at the difference in the words. The story is straightforward, but the science text, it introduces words like digest, a totally new and critical scientific concept. This is exactly where the problem starts.
So, get this. Research shows that for a student to really truly understand what they're reading, they have to know at least 90% of the words in the text. Think of it like their brain's Wi-Fi signal. If they're constantly stopping and buffering on unknown words, all their mental energy is used up just trying to connect. There's none left over to actually process the meaning. That little 10% gap is the difference between learning and just being totally lost. Okay, so that's the problem. But here is the really good news. For teachers like Mrs. Caholo, there's a clear, proven solution. It's a comprehensive, 4-part game plan for building the kind of vocabulary that students need to really thrive.
This whole framework comes from a researcher named Michael Graves, and it has 4 essential parts. You've got rich language experiences, fostering a love for words, teaching word learning strategies, and teaching individual words directly. Now, all 4 are super important, but for our purposes, we're going to zero in on the 2 most direct, powerful strategies that teachers can use in the classroom right away. Let's start with teaching individual words.
Now, teaching words explicitly does not mean making kids memorize dictionary definitions. No way. It's all about bringing words to life using a few simple steps that make the words memorable and, actually usable. Let's walk through an example, just like Mrs. Caholo might do with her class.
Let's use the word crouch. First things first, you give them a student-friendly definition. Not some complicated thing from a giant dictionary, but something simple, clear, and easy to picture, like lowering your body by bending your legs.
Next, you show the word in its natural habitat, right there in the text they're reading. By seeing the word crouched in this sentence, students can connect that simple definition to a real situation. Suddenly, it's not just an abstract idea anymore, it's part of a story. This step is absolutely crucial for getting the feel of a word.
Step 3 is all about repetition, but in different contexts. I mean, you wouldn't learn to ride a bike by trying it just one time, right? Same thing with words. Seeing crouch used in different ways, maybe an animal hunting or a kid playing hide and seek, that builds a much deeper, more flexible understanding of what it really means.
And finally, and honestly, this might be the most important step, you get the students actively involved. Have them get up and move. Ask them to physically show you what it looks like to crouch, or have them turn to a partner and share an example. This is what takes a word from something they just recognize to something they actually know. This is what makes it stick.
Okay, so teaching a few words a week like that is incredibly powerful, but let's be realistic. It's not enough to cover all the words they'll encounter. To really close that vocabulary gap, we also have to teach them how to learn words on their own. We have to teach them how to become little word detectives.
And the #1 tool for any good word detective is something called morphology. It's just a fancy word for being able to break down complex words into their meaningful parts. Take a big, intimidating word like mistreatment. When you know how to look for the clues inside, it stops being scary and becomes a totally solvable puzzle.
This table basically cracks the code for us. You've got the prefix mis, which means bad or wrong. You have the base word treat, which we know means to handle someone. And then you have the suffix ment, which just signals an action or process. See?
Each little part has its own job. And when you put those clues back together, the meaning is perfectly clear. Mistreatment is the act of treating someone badly. And the best part? This isn't just a trick for one word. It's a skill that unlocks thousands of others. It's the classic difference between giving a student a fish and teaching them how to fish for meaning all by themselves.
So why does all this matter so much? Because teaching vocabulary isn't really about passing the next reading test. It's about building the entire foundation for all the learning that comes after. A strong vocabulary is literally the bridge that connects reading, writing, and even critical thinking.
This quote from Gerald Duffy just nails that connection. The new words that students learn from reading become the tools they use in their own writing. And then, the act of using those words in their writing deepens their understanding for the next time they see them in a book. It's this amazing, powerful cycle that just keeps building on itself.
In the end, getting past the fourth grade slump isn't about some quick fix or a magic bullet. It's about making a fundamental shift in how we think about the building blocks of language itself. It reminds us that every single new word we teach a student like Charles gives them a new tool, a new way to understand their world, and maybe most importantly, to tell their own story within it. It makes you wonder, what if the key to unlocking a child's potential isn't a key at all, but a word?